Good morning, fellow option traders. This is Jeff, and today is Wednesday, January 9th, 2013, and this is the daily scan. Well, we had an alert set on BIDU yesterday, and it did trigger off. Let me just show you what I did here. Let me just kind of zoom in on this a little bit. The alert was triggered actually right at the open, and I watched it for a little while, and then finally around lunchtime, I guess you might say, I decided to get in, and a February bear call at 105 for my short and 110 for my long was what I did. And then I put a horizontal line in here at my 105 and a down arrow. It just says that. That's what I'm looking for. Something for it to stay below my short. I was thinking something else there for a while. That's why I was kind of stumbling. If you want to know how to put these up and down arrows in, you just press your Alt key and Alt 30, and then release your Alt key, and you should get an up arrow, and an Alt 31, and release your Alt key, and you should get a down arrow. You can just do a search on Google and just like ASCII characters or hidden keyboard characters, or something like that, and you can get a whole list of nifty things like little smiley faces and cent signs, cent signs are never on keyboards, and I guess I know why, because pennies don't make a lot of sense, I guess. Alright, okay, I digress. We're currently in Apple. Apple is looking pretty healthy right now. We are keeping an eye on this. We want to stay below the 560, so I could put that in here. We want to stay below this 560. Oops. Oh, I got a note set up here. Let's go up here. Horizontal line, price level. We want to stay below 560, so we'll go in here and edit the properties. We'll just delete that. We'll say Alt 31, and then change that to 560. And that is a February expiration, so we'll just extend the line out to there and say OK. So now we're watching for this to stay below 560. And it's looking pretty good for right now, although this is not going to make anybody very rich, because I think this is only like 162. If I include the commissions, it's 162. That's strange. 162. Huh. Okay. Probably because I don't have a individual account here. Alright, our Russell for the Profit Tab portfolio. Yeah, I think we gained a couple bucks on it yesterday. Nothing really fantastic. TF looks like it's going to open pretty flat today. You can see that as the days march on, this white line is starting to come up in all areas to start to conform to next week's expiration. Speaking of next week, that's what Apple's expiration was, not February, but next week. So we'll probably be getting out of that pretty soon too, because we're pretty close to 90% on that. But back to the rut. Yeah, we're just hanging in there on that, just hoping that we don't go crazy here in the next couple of days, and that we can at least get out of it with no loss. And let's go back here to Q's, the Profit Tab portfolio, and let's hide positions and look at this proposed simulated trade. When the market opens today, I'm going to lock these down, and then we'll see. It would be sort of like buying it at those prices, so I'll just click on these little lock symbols to lock it down. and then we'll watch it progress from there on. I just, you know, the market was down a little bit yesterday, and the VIX still went down. It actually went a little bit above 14 during the day, and then went back down again. That's there's just no premium out there. It's just not a lot of premium. So I'm not going to go crazy. I think the thing to do is directional trades. Just stick to those for right now, but it's not right for the profit tent portfolio, so I will hold back on that and do it in my spread account. Okay, so you might be wondering why Exelon and Intel are in here. I have another account where I do a little bit of swing trading on equities, and I kind of look for, you know, it's not a buy and hold forever kind of a thing, but I look for stocks that pay a nice dividend, and a way that you can look at that here is to go to the trade tab, select this little arrow here to open up these extra fields down here. You can see that right now Exelon is paying a 7% yield on their dividend, and Intel is paying a 4.2% yield on their dividend. Well, why is that? Well, let's take a look at a chart of Intel. That dividend is not real, the yield in that dividend is not real great when we're looking at something up above, you know, like $28 a share, but when we're looking at a stock that's down at 21 and near its lows, historic lows, at least for the time period that we're looking at here, and yeah, it's kind of at the historic lows. The yield starts to look pretty good when the stock is that cheap. Is this the right time to get in, and is that the right stock? I don't know, but if you were to look at, we're flattening out on the trend here, and the stochastic is coming down to the magic 20 mark, so that might be a good time to get in. And if you look at Exelon also, it's also doing the same thing, coming down. So I'm, for my other account that is not in Thinkorswim, probably going to be considering one or the other of these for future trading. What happened here? This was an earnings miss, and it wasn't all that big of an earnings miss, but it was an earnings miss nonetheless. Plus Hurricane Sandy, and it's a holding company for a lot of power companies, and they have a nuclear plant in New Jersey that everybody was afraid that we'd have another Fukushima or whatever the heck it was, and that the nuclear plant would be floated out to sea. But that did not happen. But I just think that there's a lot of fear out there for power companies, probably because of administration policies. But this is a Chicago company, so they should be in with Obama. Enough about that. Let's go to the A-plus list. We're already 8 minutes into this. I'm guessing that there's nothing really happening here. Apple, Amazon, I untriggered that. I mean, I did have alert trigger on that, and I took it off. There is nothing, no entries showing up here on that. BIDU, we're in. CF, we looked at this. It still hasn't hit our trigger. I'm not going to move my trigger down. As a matter of fact, it's not doing what I want it to do, so I'm just going to take it off. And I'm going to take this off too. Didn't happen. And it's pretty flat on the intermediate and the long term. It's still in an uptrend, but this is not something that excites me. Chipotle. Okay, this is a pretty strong uptrend here. A little bit of consolidation right now. we would be looking for a move down here. Hasn't happened yet. We got earnings season coming up too, so we'll see what happens here, but I will put a little bit of a oval in there just to bring our eyes down to it in future scans. Salesforce, we're in an uptrend, maybe a secondary entry here, and that may be, I think I'm going to put an alert on this just because we got confirmation over here in the long term. We have a secondary, when it comes down here and percent K goes below 45 here, that's like a secondary input, maybe a little bit more risk, maybe looking for a little bit lower delta on a trade for that. And if we were to look at that for, say, February, we'd be looking at a delta of 20 on the put side. So we got 11, say at 160. I think that would be 160. Looks like it would be pretty safe. So let's see if we can get an alert on this thing above the high, or should we go above the close? Let's go above the close. This is the close right here, and since it's a red candle, it's the bottom of the body is the close. So we will just stick it in here and at or above. That's a good price, yeah. We'll stick it in there, and if we get an alert, we might just get into this today. And it would be this. I don't think it's going to move too much, so it'll probably be this 160 price. We'll say vertical, that's 95 cents. And that's $92, 407 at risk. $92. Well, that's almost 25% on risk. If we say we bump this up to a 10 strike difference, that's 150. Oh, it doubles your risk, but it doesn't double the profit. So we'll leave that alone. We'll leave it at 55. You see the way that I looked at this, I thought, well, let's try a 10 wide spread. And right now we're at 95 cents, and if I go to 150, it gives me $1.53, so that's a 50% increase on my credit and 100%, more than 100% increase on the risk, because now my risk is $8.49, and I'm not going to do that. It doesn't work good for that one. Some it does work good for, but not for that one. Oops. Tried to change it. Got a spasm in my finger. Alright, Google. Just started a new uptrend, so we'd be looking for the stochastic to come down over here in the long term. No entries there either. MasterCard, the one that we missed. Ooh, I could just kick myself. Very nice uptrend, just continues marching, not going to chase it. Not seeing any entry signals here. Price line, crazy price line, the one that we were looking at the other day. Yeah. Not interested right now. This was that straddle that we were looking at, possibly doing, and actually, I don't know, it might have been making a little bit of money, but not much. So let's, I want to delete all drawings here. I want to clear this thing up. Still don't know exactly what to do with price line. and I haven't thought about it during the day either. PNRA bread, we were waiting for a trigger to the downside here, and it did not happen. Now we have, it's flat and starting to move up. This, we just didn't get it here, so we are taking this alert off and deleting that drawing. So now we have an uptrend and a long-term uptrend, possibly. We just, this just barely kissed it down here. Let's just bring this in a little bit more. Just barely kissed the 20. And we have confirmation. Let's take a look at what we could do here. This would be like another delta of 20. Here's 150 or 155. Look at the chart. 155 is yes. That's a nice long-term trade, as 155 is below any closings that we had recently. 155. We'll just do $5 spread on this. That's $1.15. Let's put an alert on above any of the bodies of these candles for today or yesterday. Alright, so now we have 2 for today, and then we'll just keep an eye on RUT, and we'll watch for some volatility to come back into the market so we can do another Profit 10 portfolio, but I don't think it's going to happen today just based on these numbers that I'm looking at right here. It's like, could somebody wake the market up? Geez, do something one way or the other. Oh well. That's it for today. Have a great day. I think we're going to have a little bit of a January thaw here in Ohio over the next couple of days. So if you're having similar weather, enjoy it. Otherwise, have a great day. Thanks for watching, and happy trading.